Hi, Sarah Jane here. I'm the author of A Different Joy, The Parent's Guide to Living Better with Autism, Dyslexia, ADHD and more. And what I do is I combine up-to-date research and good practice with a positive, respectful and practical approach to help autistic children, young people and their families to speak their truths, honour their struggles and live calmer and happier lives of their own choosing. So today I want to talk to you about 7 things you can do today to avoid overwhelming your child or young person. The first one, number 1, is the magical air gap and time in. So we often want to immediately make contact with our child after they come back from school and say, "Hi, how was your day?" Get them to give you the whole rundown of how it all went. But actually sometimes some people, when they've had a really rough day, maybe they're overwhelmed, they've had lots of sensory issues going on, things might not have gone entirely to plan, they may have been picked on, anything could have happened. So sometimes you just need a bit of an air gap. Now for young people who are able to walk home, that can be the air gap with music they like to listen to, that's brilliant. Sometimes you need to give them space and time to go and decompress. On a really bad day, we've had a punch bag set up and you could just go and attack the punch bag to get out any frustration or aggravation or excess energy or things that have gone wrong in the day before we have any conversation. And one of the best things to do with that time is to give time in to the things that your young person loves to do. So this is the perfect time to get involved in that special interest and to make the most of it and love every minute of it. This is relaxation time. It's refresh time, it's reboot time. But unless kind of framed appropriately, this time in time can go on for a very, very long time. And have you ever come across somebody who didn't want to get on with homework? I know I have. So what you do to get around that is you have a first and then approach. So first you have your time in with your special interest, with the thing you love to do, with your punch bag, with a walk, with fussing the cats, with having a drink, having something to eat, and then you do your homework. Or then we have a conversation about what happened. So first and then. So it's about pre-warning, it's about setting up a structure where people know what's happening, what's going to come next, and what to do next. And it's never about forcing someone and saying, this is how we're going to do that. Is this going to work for you? And 9 times out of 10, they'll work with you and tell you what it is, either physically, through language, or verbally. If it's been a really bad day, don't expect language at all to start. Which brings me on to my third point. Use fewer words. When trying to get someone to do something or to understand a new concept, you need to reduce the amount of words that you say. Someone once described having autism as being like having a tube that's the size of a ping pong ball, and if you're not autistic, what it's like is kind of like you throw lots and lots of balls, lots and lots of words into this tube, and normally there'd be a funnel and they'd all kind of work their way down, it's fine. They'd all land in the bucket at the bottom. But if you're autistic, you can only take one piece of information at a time. So they all have to fit through the top of that tube in order to get in. And if you try and pour too much through, the stuff just bounces out the side. It doesn't work. So reduce the number of words that you use. That's really helpful. When trying to encourage a young person to do something, it's really important to be specific and positive about what you want them to do. So, for example, you might want to say, "Oh, it would be really good if you tidy up your room." Tidying your room is a massive job. It's not adequately broken down into different sections that they can know that they can achieve. If you broke that down into different stages, for example, then it becomes far more achievable, which is stage 5. Now here's an example that I've got about how to load a dishwasher. Those of you who may have tried this before, who may be more experienced parents, who've been around the block a couple of times, I'm not saying I'm old, and I'm certainly not saying you're old, but in my case, not as young as I used to be, have learnt from experience that if you just say, "Could you load the dishwasher?" then you're quite likely to get an answer that says something like, I couldn't do that because it wasn't empty. Nice way of getting out of it, isn't it? So you need to explain the stages adequately. So to empty a dishwasher, to load a dishwasher, the first stage is to empty the previous stuff. Put away the clean items, so don't leave them on the side. Rinse any dirty items under the tap, so you don't end up with those claggy bits in the bottom of the dishwasher that don't work. Load the dishwasher with the new stuff, and to add the dishwasher tablet and switch it on. I can't count the number of times that someone's really helpfully done part of the job but not the whole of the job, so it doesn't actually finish. If you don't explain the stages, then often people get stuck, and it can be really useful to have a list like this that you would then stick onto your dishwasher to say what the stages were, for example. Now that might not be the job that you want them to do, but that's the sort of approach that you might want to take. And for some young people, they might prefer those in pictograms. There's lots of things like board maker or widget symbols that you can actually use to pick those icons and print them out. So that might be helpful for you. Yeah, when we've got lists of things we need to get done, it's quite useful to prioritise and not pick all of them, because if you have a great long list, the chances of getting all of them achieved are pretty low really. So do not do what I've been known to do and rush into a bedroom, look around and go, one more thing. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. That doesn't help. The one more thing will not be heard. I don't know if any of you have ever come across Peanuts, which is a cartoon by Charles Schulz. There used to be a character who would listen to the adults talking, and the adults in the background would just be going wah 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 wah. Well, when you actually give too much information, you run the risk of the things that you're saying being screened out, because the maximum amount of information that can be taken on board has already been achieved, so anything else is going to fall out the side. It's just like putting water onto sand. It just drops through and you won't get anywhere. And the final thing, really quick one, just over 7 minutes, I'm doing well, is say thank you and praise them for getting it right. Because I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have somebody recognise when I get something right and say thank you. I'm far more likely to do it again. So even if you have a tiny bit of a perfectionist streak like me, don't obsess on it. Try really, really hard to let that go. Let it go, let it go. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Try to let that go, move on, and just focus on the things they've done right. And you do that more and more often, they'll do it more and more often. It's fab. So that's 7 little tips for you today. I hope you liked them. If you enjoyed those, leave me a note in the comments below. Share with all your friends and family, anybody you think might find them useful. Lovely to speak to you. Have a fabulous time. So, speak your truth, honour your struggle, and live a calmer, happier life. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.